Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen around the world, wherever you are. Welcome to League of Tilt, where today we are doing a gameplay review of Garen, Mordekaiser, Vega, Pyke, Senna on the blue team against Fiora, Amumu, Yone, Misfortune, and Lux on the red team. Both teams are going to start with the basic fan out. Senna is still in base, as is the Fiora, but outside of that, they're just covering some entrances. Garen is protecting against a possible invade. Looks like Amumu is just going to get River Vision, while Mordekaiser is going to get slightly deeper vision. So both junglers should have a rough idea of where the other is starting. Actually, well, Amumu might not know unless Yone goes further, but blue team will know where Amumu is starting. Recalling to get sweeper, it's fine. Looks like we are going to actually have a 3-man collapse. No, we're not. Looks like we're just going to give Vega some free stacks. That'll work too. So this game primarily is going to be Pyke set up bot lane. Okay, nothing doing. Pyke set up bot lane is always very volatile. Looks like we're just going to get invaded on our top side. And to the extent that, okay, red team's going to be able to take away this blue buff. Mordekaiser should know this. Is he going to use that information to path to the enemy blue? They have vision on it. There shouldn't be any need to contest this. Maybe he can just go from red to Raptors to over here. Garen should be careful of a level 2 cheese gank. It looks like he's not respecting it. Amumu's just coming up from behind him. He is going to get surprised. Is he going to make it out? He should have flash. Amumu should only have one future. Oh, maybe he's dead. If Fiora's not going to flash after. Oh no, Fiora's dead. Fiora's dead. Oh no, she doesn't have that damage this early on. They butchered the dive. They should have just been happy with this flash. Fiora gifting the kill over to the Garen. She does have TP, so she won't miss much lane-wise. But the lane is in a horrifyingly bad position for her. Garen just holds this here, then it's very easy for Mordekaiser to... Oh, and because Mordekaiser knows that Amumu showed topside, he can just take both counts together. And meanwhile, we have a massive fight in the bot lane. Heavy trading. Looks like Misfortune is going to almost get some... Oh. This is such a feels bad game for the red team. First the botch dive, I was so close on the top side. Now this. Just the coordination was just not there, and then Pyke got a nasty hook on the Lux. The chain CC was just too much. You do have to be careful of that as a squishy. So now blue team at 3 minutes into the game, already with a 1,000 gold lead, and the Amumu is going to be absolutely shut down. Yone is here. Oh! The miss on the Death's Grasp on a stun target. If he hits that, Yone either has to flash or he has to just dive. And Pyke will miss the hook, so Misfortune should be able to make it out of here. Senna's just going to spend the count for Shinobi on purpose. Mordekaiser is going to grab the Scuttle Crab after taking most of Amumu's blue side. He is still ahead in camp significantly because he was farming that entire time and he got the counter invade off from Amumu. Amumu's going to walk into his blue side, not really going to find anything. Going to chase the Yone off. Amumu's not really in a position to fight here. He doesn't have aftershock, so he doesn't have that initial burst of tankiness. He's going to get double crabbed because he's walking from top side into bot side. And even if he walks into Mordekaiser's bot side here, he's not going to find anything except the Krugs. Meanwhile, Mordekaiser is going to be heading upstairs to see if he can get something on the Fiora. Looks like that's not going to happen. Misfortune, meanwhile, is going to get a gank off. Oh, looks like... Okay, close, but it looks like it wasn't actually blue team's time to be super unlucky, just a little unlucky. Let's take a look at how that fight started again. Like I said, Pyke settling very well, so we just have some heavy trading, people attacking back and forth, but they're not respecting the fact that Amumu can be here because he doesn't have any camp. But they're not respecting the fact that Amumu can be here because he doesn't have any camp, so where else is he going to go? But at this point, they're too far committed to the trade. Senna gets hit by a binding on the backside of that. That's what kills her. And then Pyke is just trying to finish off the Misfortune with his Hail of Blades burst. Almost doesn't make it, but in the end, he does get it. Misfortune getting a double isn't the best, but it will just end up equalizing the lane state. So we are down to only a 300 to 400 gold lead from that 1k gold lead, so we're pulling it back relatively well. Amumu has now nothing to do than go back. Now he could have checked for these Krugs, but I suppose he didn't want to invade without vision to any territory, which is as it should be. Meanwhile, Mordekaiser gets to take his top side, so he has essentially 3 quadrants of the Amumu. Now he's going to get to complete a full clear of his bot side and then finish his recall with an immense amount of gold. So despite that failed gank in the mid lane because of that missed skill shot, just using intelligent pathing, he's still going to be able to accrue a massive advantage. Meanwhile, more fighting in the bot lane. Hook's gonna hit. This is pretty academic. Yep, dead. Oh, okay. That took a little longer than I thought it would. Misfortune doesn't have any summoners. She's dead. Pike gets out of vision, healed everything back up. Pike is really difficult to deal with when you can play around vision like this. Mordekaiser finishes chickens, goes for the Yone, nothing doing. Yone has this warded, they don't know that. So Yone is just going to walk away, keep himself safe. Looks like Veigar was low on man anyways. Needed to reset. But this is a pretty interesting dragon call though from Mordekaiser, because now you have Senna and the Pike with their lane priority, having just pushed the Misfortune Lux out of lane. And Mordekaiser knows that Amumu is topside right now, because after he recalled, that's where he would be. He didn't have anything on his bot side, so he would go topside. That means he knows that this dragon is going to be uncontested, so even though he falls pretty low in taking it, he does have smite here already. He has smite here. He's completely fine to take it. They do have this warded. Okay. So this actually I think is an error. He should just go into the red team's blue side here and at least steal away a Gromp, because he knows when the Gromp is going to respawn, because he knows this reset timer, and since he should know that Amumu's top because his bot side camps were down, he knows that taking this Gromp is just super free. More trading and fighting on the bot side. Looks like red team has split up. Misfortune is now going to win a auto attack war against the Pike. But looks like because they were split, Pike alone didn't have the damage to finish her, but his cooldowns come back up and now he does. So it's a double. Bit of a messy fight. Veigar is going to sidestep the Tornado pretty nicely. Garen just continuously getting the better end of these trades against the Fiora after that early advantage. Mordekaiser meanwhile has finally backed pretty good buy, Blasting Wand, Amp Tome, and Boots. So he's going to shred through his jungle and he's going to absolutely rip through people that he duels with, because that is 60 AP he picked up at 7 minutes into the game alongside of Boots. He will have level 6 here very soon. Garen's just going to take the Scuttle Crab. That's perfectly fine. Mordekaiser's on the other side of the map, so there's no reason to leave it up. There's not much for him to do in lane anyways, because Fiora is just pushing in. So he's just going to take this, give himself a golden level lead, and make sure that if, for whatever weird pathing reasons, if Amumu was here, just make sure that he couldn't get it even if he was walking over that side. So intelligent decision making this. Oh no, that feels... The flash isn't gonna do it. The Senna heal comes through. Looks like Garen is going to get a solo kill meanwhile on Fiora. Let's have a look at that. So he comes up after taking the Scuttle Crab. He just goes in, Fiora ults, riposting the ulti, but then he flashes away, lets the minions finish the job. So that was just not the best play by the Garen, but he was ahead enough to where it didn't matter. Fiora wasn't able to get off full procs in the vitals. Amumu is going to come up and exert some pressure, but it's not going to result in anything because there are just 2 people in the bot lane. Meanwhile, Yone is trying to roam, but Veigar with very good pings. We have the Root, but unstoppable, but he's going to Root at the end of it, but he's going to get the shutdown with Fate Unbound into the ulti. So Veigar should be able to use this opportunity to push a couple of plates, but that is very, very good equalizing for the rest of it, as you can see, because of all of these kills and because of how far behind the Amumu has been put. Again, the Amumu Mordekaiser matchup, there's been no kills whatsoever, but the CST speaks for itself. Meanwhile, Garen has gotten 2 kills on the Fiora, and bot lane is a fight fest. So, but a fight fest that favors the blue team. So all of that gave them a 2k gold lead again. It was almost 3k before Yone pulled it back with that 900 gold shutdown. Amumu is going to have his buff stolen from him again. Mordekaiser knows he chose bot side, so he shouldn't have an opportunity yet to take his top side camps. He's just going to be able to steal his way, and if Amumu shows up here, what is happening here? Okay, that was weird. If he knows that if Amumu shows up here, he can just ulti Amumu and kill him. Amumu doesn't have Aftershock, so he's not going to be tanky at all. He's going to put down the Herald here, which he took while all of that action was going down on the bot side. Amumu is here for the counter gank. They should be expecting this. Looks like Mordekaiser is just clearing out the wave. Okay, he's just gonna take some plates and walk away, leave it for Garen to pressure. Garen looks like he wants to go for the fight. Amumu is trying to go for the Mordekaiser. Very good predict. Garen just gets on top of the Fiora. Oh, the repulse barely doesn't get the ulti. Amumu is going to make it out. Looks like Mordekaiser is going to go for absolutely nothing. What a waste. And he's going to miss the death squad. I don't think we've seen him hit one of those yet. He's just winning out because he's has smart pathing decisions, and so far the micro has been absolutely horrifyingly bad. Amumu doesn't have ulti. There's no universe in which he does anything against the Garen who's 3 levels up on him. He's already regening up max HP. We haven't seen Mordekaiser even use his ulti yet. Ione is showing up here. Does Mordekaiser want this fight? Looks like he does, yeah. He should know this is happening. He saw them live mid lane. Okay, it looks like Ione doesn't want this fight either. Who would actually win? They seem relatively similar in terms of power, but Ione does have a Vamp Scepter, but they are equal in level. So in a situation where they're in similar power level, Mordekaiser, I think, should be able to win out on that. Of course, the only reason Ione has all of these items is because he basically got gifted most of a Moon Quiver by that 900 gold shutdown. Veigar has just been doing an absolutely wonderful job of just dodging the third Q from Ione, just not getting knocked out. Pike's on the stopwatch, and Misfortune's going to ulti, Senna's going to root Pike, but Hell of Blades, they're falling dangerously low. Pike with a Tiamat. He's taking damage. He's in the bush, healing it back up. Misfortune's very low. The E comes back up. Senna is going to get it with the Piercing Shadow, and then the range is going to finish it off. So this time we see it the other way around, but Pike sets up the kills and stunning. Report Mordekaiser, honestly. Just report Mordekaiser. So far he has missed 2 free kills on the Ione, but at the same time Veigar could also have ignited. And he probably should have ignited. So that's sad. Meanwhile, Mordekaiser is just going to start up this dragon because their bot lane died. So that's a solid call, because even if Amumu shows up here, he just gets ulted and dies, right? So another free dragon. The vision literally just does not matter. If Amumu shows up, Mord should just ult him. Okay, he even gets the smite up because he's upgraded. Yeah, Amumu is just going to get absolutely massive. Okay, he actually doesn't miss that death scrap somehow. Misfortune is going to end up getting caught by Veigar cage and Senna ulti, but Mordekaiser is going to get rooted by Lux. Veigar is going to pick it up with the ignite. Senna root, the Mist Embrace is going to land, and Pike is going to get it with the execute. Okay, X marks the spot. When all is said and done, blue team super far ahead. Like all of this, like yes, it's a lot of fighting, but none of it is particularly surprising. Like you can read these plays coming up from significantly behind. Although Pike is now looking for a roam. This is the first time we've actually seen Pike use his ability to roam to impact the mid lane. He's dealing significant more damage just because of trading bot side. Pike's not going to, Ione's not going to be able to catch up Mordekaiser if he misses. Okay, thank God. Ione is going to get run down. The movement speed, and the last obliterate. Okay, looks like just some more heavy trading on the top side. Nothing more really doing. Okay, so this game, lots of fighting, right? Lots of fighting, lots of deaths, but not plays you can't read, because there's been a large amount of information that Mordekaiser has been able to gather by invading outside of the jungle. So, Fiora's dead. Yep, just flash him. I don't know if you needed to flash me to play a wee bit better. I'm almost gonna get double. Oh, okay. I guess he must not have had E, or he must not have wanted to get ulted on their tower. Which does make sense. Because it's like, whenever this lane gets pushed behind, or whenever Mordekaiser invades and takes a camp on this side, then he knows Amumu will be on this side, and then whenever bot lane gets pushed out, he knows that he has priority here. So just using the lane cryo to keep making plays. Looks like we're going to be able to catch out Lux in the mid lane. How did that happen? So we're just here, we're just trading blows. What do we get caught by? Senna just, oh, okay, Senna just walks up and presses Qs, it slows, and that puts her in position to throw out the Mist's Embrace. And Lux just doesn't expect the damage coming off from Senna. Senna has a significant amount of burst, especially when she's ahead. She's going for a Kraken Slayer build as well. So that third prop, it hurts. Right, Senna's 2-hit passive, plus on top of that, the Kraken Slayer 3-hit passive. Painful, painful. Yone is going to clear out this mid lane. Yone is actually relatively strong because he's been getting so many shutdowns. So Garen's finally going to get that topside turret. Objective bounties are coming up soon for the red team. That is a way for them to get back into the game. If Mordekaiser loses his stranglehold on the game and he gives up heralds, okay, that feels like it probably should have. They blocked to dive. Pyke is actually level 7 because of all the shenanigans. He hasn't been main as much. Oh, he was just very low HP when he started. He couldn't get them low enough in time. Veigar just walks up, cages her in so that she can't walk away, presses ulti. He's going to get killed here. He's in the middle of a 3-man pincer. Too greedy, didn't walk backwards through tower after getting the kill, so he's just going to get run down by the right Shut down. There's no Drake, so this doesn't really net them anything on the bot side of the map, but Garen and Mordekaiser should be trying to take topside, but it looks like Mordekaiser is for once not actually going to be able to use that information to do anything. Topside is on the bot side of the map, but I think he should definitely have pathed, like from here, he should have definitely pathed towards this thing, because he knew all of them are bot side. That was the easiest way to punish them. He might still be able to make it there in time, because someone looks like he's just clearing topside, but that's definitely an error. It's lucky that those players... Lux is just not respecting the Senna damage. Let's take a look at that again. She's here. Senna just walks up with her camouflage. Gets an auto attack off. Oh, nice predictable engage. And then just, doesn't even need the slow on her engage. Pyke is going to get hit, but he has Pyke, so he's completely fine. Garen, meanwhile, is going to be able to take his lead and smack Fiora in the face with it. Oh, look at that item disparity. Stridebreaker plus Executioner. Fiora tries to immediately go PLT, but it's just like she's dead in one rotation. So that's just very, very sad for her. Stridebreaker on Garen is particularly strong because it gives you movement speed after you land your Q. Garen's movement speed comes from his Q, and often he loses his sticking power afterwards, but with a Stridebreaker, after you land your Q, because you auto-attacked, you get to stay on top of them. Of course, Stridebreaker slow while you're using your E, just make sure that they can never get away from you. So when you're ahead, Stridebreaker, of course, the attack speed also synergizes really well with your E, so it's just a very good item to get. And the movement speed on the passive, Amumu's just going to cry. No red buff, no crowds, getting punished by Mordekaiser on one side, Garen on the other side. He's just odd. It looks like he's going to find a wild Garen here, expecting to find Krogs probably. Just going to need to ult to get to safety. Poor Mumu. Oh, but he is going to get a bandage toss under turret. I don't think it's going to matter though. Garen is just way too tanky. Fiora, is she going to be able to get this? Mordekaiser finished the Herald, walking up topside, playing in and out of vision. The W comes back up, the courage! To the auto attack and the auto reset. That was so close. It was probably possible for Fiora to have gotten that if she had played that a wee bit better. Looks like we're going to have a lot more action in the bot side though, so let's focus on that for a sec. So we've got Yone coming in for the 3-man collapse on the Senna while Garen is killing Amumu. Yone misses the Fate Unbound ulti, and then he goes back, and then Pyke just walks up to them, but he's able to use his W camouflage, the Bilgewater dive, to stay safe. Meanwhile, this dive they're going for this dive. Misfortune is just going to go ahead and kill with ulti, flash to get on top, and then 700 gold straight over the Yone. Veigar shows up way late to the party, misses his cage because Yone is able to tornado out, misses his Q, misses the siphoning strike. Well, sorry, Siphoning Strike is a nasty, but it misses the Siphon. So nothing doing, they're going to get this turret, but at what cost? Top lane has lost so much and they've let down Herald, so while all of that is going down, they're going to get an inhib at 16 minutes into the game off of the Garen and Mordekaiser's lead. Like, Mordekaiser doesn't have terribly many kills, but he's more than doubling Amumu's CS. This is just ridiculous how far behind this poor jungler has been put by both the pressure from the laner, pressure from the jungler. So even when things are sort of very messy on the bot side, like at this stage you could argue that across the bottom half of the map, power is distributed evenly. Yone, looks like we're posturing for this Drake. We should be able to get it. Garen is showing up. This should be a pretty free dragon for the blue team. Mordekaiser's in base, waiting. He's waiting. He was thinking about life for a while. I don't know why. It looks like and that thinking is going to cost him the skirmish. Oh, but an insane Veigar cage. Garen's going to get into the backline as a result of it. That was an amazing baby cage. Follow up from Garen behind. Pincer, get 2 kills. Pyke is going to clean up on the end of that with all of the executes. Just not much to say about that. You cannot funnel into a choke point against a Veigar. Misfortune didn't even have her ulti up for that fight because she used it for the dive earlier. It was just barely not there. So it's just all kinds of unfortunate for the red team. Just a couple of things. If Veigar had managed to catch 2 people, if Misfortune had an ulti, but of course none of those things happened and then just ended up falling very far behind. Look at the gold difference. It's 10,000 gold difference. 18 minutes into the game. Yone is finally going to get stuck in a Veigar cage, and Veigar does significant damage to her. Yone can't just be randomly jumping into Veigar like that. He will take damage and he will be in pain. Mordekaiser is just going to flank them from inside the jungle again. Fiora is trying to proc all of the vitals of the Garen, but meanwhile Garen is just messing her up. He's going to get slowed, so he can't kill the Fiora. He knows Fiora doesn't have the boost, but she is going to just be able to lunge away from the Death's Grasp. Amumu's coming in for the half flank. I don't think he can even duel the Senna. Mordekaiser's just going to take him to the Death Realm. He's going to move to the Death's Grasp. So he survives absolutely nobody. He's going to get him with an ulti. He's going to hit him. He's going to miss the obliterate as soon as he comes out. But he's still to get the kill. And that's something, because one of the few ways they might have lost this is if the red team was able to chain Amumu ulti into Misfortune ulti into Lux ulti. That's one of the few ways they might have had enough damage. Looks like Veigar was getting very greedy on the top side. He's just going to get slashed by Yone. Yone's ulti makes him unstoppable. His Soul Unbound E makes him unstoppable as well. So he actually has a lot of tools to push his CC. He also should have a shield blow. Yeah, he does have a shield blow. So the burst from the Veigar isn't actually enough to one-shot him because he's behind the items. He's actually one full item behind Yone. So even though, yes, he does have burst, Yone also has a massive amount of consistent DPS because he's a completed Infinity Edge. So this Yone is the win condition that the red team need to play around. And they actually have insane team fighting, right? Even though they're so far behind, because the ultimates just bring so much value. Misfortune isn't all, like, she's behind, but she has a Kraken Slayer and her ulti applies on it, and she has some lethality. She's going to absolutely shred through the squishies on this side, right? And so if you can chain Amumu ulti, Yone ulti, Misfortune ulti, Lux ulti, that should still be enough to win a team fight. So that's the scary thing about a team fight composition like this. When you have even one fed person, like a massive stun or a massive skirmish is what they have to look for. This is not what they have to look for. Squishy support walks into river to clear vision by herself. Veigar Predator going to ulti, it's not going to get the kill. It is a sad day to be a Fiora when a Senna can do that to you. I don't even know that she needed to flash away. She could have just, I think she could have just stayed in her super minion wave if she would have gotten. They're so far behind, it's honestly a little sad. Like, Fiora and Uwu couldn't even take out the Senna. Could they have played slightly better? Probably, but really they just needed to coordinate, not even take a risk. Yone was trying to catch up with Senna, but she's just going to be careful to walk away. Now Yone is going to get caught in the special rotation. He's going to get a kill on the Veigar before he goes down, which is very cool. It's very good for him. But trading his life with Veigar is absolutely not worth it. Like, the red team, for the red team, Yone is the team right now. Whereas the blue team has multiple strong members and Veigar isn't even one of them. So trading yourself from somebody of middling strength on the other team when you are the fed person on this team just doesn't make sense. Got greedy for the Krugs. He should have respected that one Senna is running away. Because they don't have vision here and here, you could be getting collapsed on. While they're taking Baron topside because they're strong and they can just brute force it. We have 4 people bot side trying to chase a dead man for dead minutes. I can't tell if they've given up on life or if they're just trolling, but either way, this isn't going very well. Garen is 11-0 this stage. He hasn't been caught out once, I don't think. I've only seen him drop to less than half HP. Like near the beginning, like when he got dove, and then near the beginning when he was in a very close fight against the Fiora. But after that, I don't think I've seen him even drop below half HP. Yone is here trying to push. Mordekaiser is just going to ulti him. Not much to say about this. You're strong. You're not Mordekaiser strong. Because Mordekaiser actually has more farm than the Yone, because he's still more than doubling his CS. He's just going to get caught out and get blasted. It's like red team just looks like they have no idea what to do, where to go together, where to engage, like how to beat the coordination of the blue team. Like Garen is drawing pressure, Mordekaiser is pushing the map, and meanwhile Pyke and Senna are constantly threatening and killing people. So the fact that you have a Garen who can kill you, Pyke who can kill you, Senna who can kill you, and all these people, like Senna and Pyke can both sort of come out of camouflage. Okay. He's going to be fine. Yeah, Mistborn is very dead here as well. Mordekaiser's showing them, hey guys, I'm strong too, okay? It's not just again, Garen's gonna be like, wait, don't finish the game, don't finish the game. We need Mountain Soul. Yeah, can't end the game before Mountain Soul. Okay. Excellent. Garen is now happy because he has accomplished his life's purpose in life, dropping the Mountain Soul, which is just absolutely ridiculous. Like, they're acing them over and over again on repeat in a 4v5. Mordekaiser's full HP. Like, Senna's healing scales with AD and lethality, and she has a collector now. So, this is just absolute domination. This game never felt particularly close from the very beginning. Like, because of the Mordekaiser's pathing, punishing the Amumu repeatedly, just still going to get more kills before the Nexus goes down, which is a minion piece. Senna's going to use her range to mess with him. Mordekaiser's not even going to die to the Fountain Laser. Garen's going to make it here in time for the hammer. What a stomp coming in. The botch dive early on gave Garen the tools necessary with which to crush his lane, and Mordekaiser with intelligent pathing just completely shut down the Amumu from being able to do anything. End of the game 1 and 7. Like, Mordekaiser's micro was so bad. I think we only hit it, like, we saw him miss more ease than we saw him hit. But even though his success rate on the Dead's Grasp was so little, just by out-tracking the enemy jungler and pushing objectives and using his lane pressure, he's able to win. Obviously, now life was easy for him in terms of getting dragons because his bot lane was constantly getting ahead. But he was in positions to capitalize even when it wouldn't have gotten ahead. So just good pathing by the Mordekaiser and just like very solid play by the Garen, right? Just recognizing where his strengths are, when he can like take trades and win trades, and just not getting greedy, not just like me Garen, me go in. Just recognizing strengths, cooldown windows, and picking intelligent fights against the Fiora, and he's just positioned really well in fights against the Fiora in particular, who's the only person who could have shredded through him because from max HP true damage. Like, this is supposed to be an unfavorable matchup, right? But he, with his lead, he was able to not only stack up HP but also get movement speed off the stride breaker and use all of that to make sure that he never allowed Fiora to proc all 4 vitals. So that allowed him consistently win duels. While Pyke and Senna were doing things on the map as well. It was a lot messier. They did die a couple of times because they got dove bot lane. So while they were very strong individually, they didn't really respect how badly they could get focused down by the enemy team. Sometimes Yone, bless his soul, tried, but when you try your best and you just don't succeed, it's just not enough. Who's he going to play with? Like, MF ulti, maybe, but he needs somebody to engage for him. He can't cut through the Garen by himself. There's no way. He can get one-shot by the Veigar still. He can presumably still get one-shot by Pyke and Senna. So it's just very hard for him. He did get onto squishy targets multiple times, but often he was alone and it wasn't enough. So Senna doing the most damage by far because of the amount of long distance poking she was able to do. Garen coming up with a close second. Mordekaiser's primary contribution to this game, as expected, is through the objective game. Took both Rift Heralds, set up all of the dragons for Soul, tanked most of the damage as well because Garen just killed people before he could take any damage. He frontlined less, and he was absent during that entire last base fight. If we take a look at the overview of the call graph, it was even until it wasn't at 3 minutes. Blue team never threw away their lead. Red team never got to take an objective bounty. Red team never got to take an objective on that wasn't a tower, I should say. Never got a dragon, never got a herald. They were just given no avenues back into the game. Mordekaiser got a very big lead by stealing half of Amumu's jungle in the early game, and Garen got gifted some gold, and they just ran with it. Meanwhile, Pyke and Senna also did crush their bot lane, but their leads did get shut down for a while. There was a period of time where the Yone was sufficiently strong for all the shutdown gold to make the bot half of the map equal in strength, but Garen and Mordekaiser didn't let that stop them from just running away with it. Poor Mumu was just probably getting flamed the entire time. He just didn't know what to do, and by the end of that game, that entire team just looked lost, because one jungler knew how to path to punish reactively, the other jungler didn't, so he ended up falling behind, and then Fiora just fell behind in lane. When you have a fighter versus fighter matchup, once you have that amount of gold disparity, it's very hard to be able to do anything. Given enough time, Fiora will outscale the Garen, but time was not given to the red team. So just well played from just about everybody, but with special emphasis on the Garen. And I suppose we have to credit the Mordekaiser despite the million missable traits. Hope you enjoyed that video. Hope you found it instructive. Have a wonderful day. Until next time, peace.